Sup everybody, this is Karak with ACG and welcome to my 10 games to play to ignore your family during the Christmas holidays list. Now somebody on Twitter said, hey, could you create this? And I usually do not create lists. I'm not a big fan of them, but you know what? On this idea, I can get behind it because let's be honest, the holidays aren't all they're chalked up to be. Everyone has that relative that spends half the Christmas thinking farting in front of the family like a chlorine gas attack in sandy trenches is hilarious. Or the fact that some of us have that one parent that really always looks down on our chosen hobbies because they were basically born at a time when slivers caused worldwide panic and where folks needed two rubbers for safe sex, one for going in, one for coming out. So without further ado, here's my list for games to play to ignore the family during the holidays. Oh, one little PSA, remember these are my games in my list, so if you think, why isn't blankety blank game on here? It's because of the descriptive and almost mysterious reason, because. So here's the list. My suggestions for games that will help you ignore your family this holiday season. The first up is, of course, Oxenfree, and it's not just because I think this thing could be game of the year. Well, fuck, actually, most of the reason is because of that. One part X-Files, one part Stand By Me, and a little bit of exorcisms mixed in. Oxenfree is a 2D mystery game following the exploits of a couple rascally kids just wanting to have one last school party. Then next thing you know, family secrets, ancient hauntings, and an island's mysterious past all sort of bloom into a fantastic story that basically has to be played 2 times to even get the most out of it. This game is what the word fantastic was created to explain. Except for that one girl in high school, Jill. Yeah, you know you got it going on. Fantastic. Next up is Doom. Rarely does a game do its source material this kind of justice. This is the kind of justice that leaves younger people who played it telling their kids of the first time they got to play Doom, and us older folks able to say, yeah, well guess what? You played Doom the next generation. I got to play Doom the original series. Right now they're trying to get the older version running on everything. Basically Casio watches are running that old damn game, but lickety split, this version is fast with an insane amount of gameplay packed into the single player. The multiplayer is either take it or leave it, but as a package, there are few things better than ignoring your family by being accused of worshiping the devil during one of Doom's heavy with symbolism cutscenes. Next up, of course, is Tyranny. Okay, actually, it's just another evil game. Nothing says Christmas like terrassing through a land as the person in charge. None of this Nancy bullshit where you show up to work and have to level up and go in lockstep with every other mindless drone on your way to a retirement town +1 showing off pictures of all your kids and your ancient sword collection. No, here you start off in power, running through the world as a medieval Judge Dredd, passing laws and smiling while doing so. The greatest game ever made? No. But since you can't control your in-laws, you might as well control an entire fictional nation and leave everyone wishing you would die. And that, of course, brings us to our first and only racer, but I gotta say it, Forza Horizon and the new Blizzard Mountain DLC. That's right, a racer. Take the TV away from your parents who are just gonna watch the same 4 friggin' Christmas movies anyway. Throw on Forza and the Blizzard Mountain DLC and watch in awe as your mom, who can't back the car out of the driveway, scores first place in her soup to the balls Impreza, decked out with snow tires and dead snowmen. The game is just fantastic through and through, filled with replayability and with excellent sound. You can put on your headphones and pretty much ignore everyone around you anyway. And that brings us to Star Trek Online. That's right, a console online game. I don't know if in Star Trek's future they celebrate this shit, but I assume they do because I think I remember Picard crying for like the 1000th time in front of a Christmas tree when he went to not heaven in that shitty Generations movie. But there is nothing like tearing open Klingon bird of prey like Snoopy wrap gifts and watching the awesome stuff pop out. And it's free for friggin' ever. Beatable without a cent spent, and yes, I have beat the game without actually spending a cent, and so have many others. You can jump in, ignore your family, level up, grind away on your Admiral, and when someone says dinner's ready, tell them to shove it up their replicator. And that brings us to another game released this year, Uncharted 4. That's right, it's not just that the game's absolutely bomb-ass stellar and packed with enough content that you can spend half the Christmas vacation shooting dudes in the face in a murder simulator, but you also have the multiplayer, which is surprisingly not terrible. Uncharted 4 is a game that begs to be played at least a second time, only if to look around and say, you know what, since I can't go to a medieval ruin, in real life, this is close enough, and then spend another 20 minutes leveling the countryside like a goddamn Nathan Drake-shaped steamroller. Sure, it's another Uncharted, but that's sort of like complaining about more awesome sex. Next up, Deadly Tower of Monsters. That is right, it's on the list. I get it, it's an indie game that isn't actually perfect, but that's why this is called ACG's list and not random other person's list. I love Deadly Tower of Monsters, and just like visiting your relatives in the holidays, you get to see the good and the bad behind the scenes. But here, it's the making of a fake 1970s sci-fi film, and you play through it in sort of a Gauntlet-esque style. Fantastic fake stop motion, very good jokes, and Stacy. Yeah, Stacy. Next up, Bully. Now, anybody surprised by this title being on here is most likely also surprised every morning they wake up and their face is still connected. This is a game that fakes holidays so you can ignore the real ones and does it better than the real ones. In a way, it's like Facebook friends, replacing the tangible and important with the completely fake and artificial. Who cares though? You play as Jimmy Hopkins, armpit farting your way through the Bullsworth Academy in a game that shows Rockstar knows their shit. Let's just be honest, Rockstar could make a game based on a character in a friggin' woodworking guild, and it would turn out to be incredible. Go to classes, mix chemicals, shoot people in the face with slingshots, kiss chicks, steal bikes, and rip through the confines of a little mini-town. The game is one of those that once you get to the next section, you realize, holy crap, there's a next section? And last but not least, what would this list be without a bit of Total War? Now, you might ask me which one, and I say any of them, because frankly, if you turn that time-sucking bitch on, there is a chance you won't come back up until Valentine's Day. And then when you realize you still don't have a significant other anyway, you can come back around the 4th of July, and we'll do a list about games that need to be taken out and blown the hell up. Total War games, since their inception, have been absolute time sinks, and nothing feels better than spreading the bloody Yule season across the landscapes of your enemies anyway. Now sure, the games have some kind of diplomacy in them somewhere, I wouldn't know. For me, diplomacy is simply varying degrees of my enemies dying quicker. The quicker, the better our relationship is. Field your men and women, go out into battle in almost any friggin' century now with all the countless sequels, and do what any good world conqueror does. Use the winter season to absolutely screw everyone else over. You know, when it comes down to it, these are all games that I really enjoy, but there's thousands of others. And I really want to say thanks to whomever offered the idea to do this video. I apologize that I can't remember who it was and I can't seem to find it. But you know what? You know you're out there. I know you're out there. So as always, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Maybe check out Patreon, Twitter, whatever. If I've saved you some cash, maybe send some back. If you dislike the video, give it a thumbs down. And as always, if you want reviews and videos that aren't 2 minutes long and filled with sponsored bullshit, stick with ACG. Peace out and enjoy your holidays.